Cicisbeism, the Italian Renaissance's answer to non-monogamous relationships, a strange and scandalous practice that has perplexed historians for centuries. Let's dive into this bizarre cultural phenomenon. Firstly, what is Cicisbeism? It was a social convention where noble women in Italy would have a cicisbeo, or a male companion, who would accompany them to events and outings. The relationship was often platonic, but not always, and was carried out with the knowledge and consent of the woman's husband. The cicisbeo was usually a close friend or relative of the husband, and the relationship was kept discreet to avoid scandal. But why would anyone want a cicisbeo? Well, it was a way for women to have some freedom and independence in a society that was heavily patriarchal. Women in Italy at the time were expected to be chaste and submissive to their husbands. But with a cicisbeo, they could have a male companion who would listen to them, provide emotional support, and even defend their honor if needed. Plus, it was a way to show off one's social status and sophistication. This relationship was not necessarily sexual, but was based on companionship and emotional intimacy. The practice of cicisbeism was so widespread that it even had its own rules and etiquette. For example, the cicisbeo was not allowed to sit next to the woman at dinner, but had to stand behind her chair. They were also expected to be fashionable and well-groomed, as they were essentially an extension of the woman's social status. But as you can imagine, cicisbeism was not without controversy. Some saw it as a threat to traditional family values, and it was criticized by religious authorities. Eventually, it fell out of favor in the late 18th century, as social norms and attitudes towards relationships began to change. One famous example of cicisbeism in Venice was the relationship between Casanova and Teresa Emer, the wife of a Venetian nobleman. Their relationship was a scandal at the time, but they managed to carry it on for several years before it ended abruptly. In conclusion, cicisbeism was a fascinating and peculiar practice that sheds light on the complex social dynamics of Renaissance Italy. While it may seem strange to us today, it was a way for women to navigate a society that limited their agency and autonomy. And who knows, maybe one day we'll look back on our own cultural practices and marvel at their oddity